Hey everyone, today's video is about the classes that I have taken over the last few years at film school. My first semester as a senior just ended, so I figured this would be the perfect time to do a video wrap-up of all the classes I've taken up until this point. If you saw my previous video, then you'll know that I transferred schools before my sophomore year of college, and I was initially going to a state school where I wasn't actually in the film program. I was doing more of a cinema studies type of thing. So I'll start with the classes that I took at my first university. So those classes were film analysis, classic movies, script analysis, and advanced film analysis. As I said before, all of these classes were basically cinema studies classes, so I'm sure as you gathered from the titles, they were all analysis, which meant that we would sit in class and watch movies, and then we'd go home and we'd basically just write pages and pages of papers about these movies, analyzing small details and the overall stories and all that kind of stuff. In a later video, I'll talk about all the movies that I got to watch in class, but right now I'm going to actually talk about the structure of these classes. So my film analysis and my classic movies class were basically similar. The professors would basically pick out a movie each week that we would sit and watch, and then we would talk about the plots of the movies and how that played into, what the characters were thinking or how they were acting and how that kind of arced throughout the entire film. So for classic movies, as you can tell from the title, it was just a bunch of old films that are considered classic. If you type in classic movies on Google, you'll basically get this really long list of films. So that class, it ran for several weeks, and each week it was the same thing. You would come in, class was about 2 or 3 hours long, the professor would put a film up and we would just sit and we'd watch it and we'd take notes on whatever we thought was interesting or something that we could write about a little bit later on. Also, as a part of that class, we had the opportunity to do one creative assignment, which meant that we could take one of the films that we had watched and write a creative script based on some ideas from that film. My film analysis class was all about studying the cinematography, the shot movements, the camera placements, the actor movements, anything that would make up the story of the film, and seeing how it all ties together to basically make what you're seeing and how it develops the characters and everything else. Advanced film analysis was again just the next level of that, so it goes a little deeper into story and character arcs and all that stuff. For my script analysis class, we were actually looking at plays instead of screenplays, but it's a similar idea with getting the stage direction or, the character's thoughts and feelings kind of on the page. Basically take a play every couple of weeks and we would read it through, and then we'd see what every character was doing, and then we'd have to kind of analyze what they were thinking at that moment. And basically, since scripts and screenplays kind of have very basic description of how the scene is supposed to look, where the setting is, or where the character moves throughout the scene, design the scenes ourselves to kind of think about, what is it going to look like when you actually have the scene on a screen. Although my main focus is really in production, I was really glad that I actually started out doing analysis of films, because it really gives you an idea of how much thought and how much backstory has to go into creating your characters and creating your story. So if you're a screenwriter, an analysis class could be really beneficial to you because you really learn how every angle, every shot, every camera movement, every thing that the actor does or says really plays into their character and the overall story of every single film. Most likely I'll do a part 2 to this video where I share some of the work that I did from these classes, because although they were analysis and although I did a lot of writing, there was a small amount of opportunity to kind of take what we were learning in class and, put that into action, which meant that some of them had us make little short films just outside of class. So again, be sure to click subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and be sure to look out for part 2 of this video, and as well as part 3, which will be all about my NYU classes. Thanks for watching. Bye!